What do you want this year to be like for your goals? What are your dreams? Every year we sort of start off January 1st and we make either New Year's resolutions or we think, what do I really want for myself? And we always want to make the next year better than the last year. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to share some tips with you, and I'm really excited. If you really want this to be your best year ever, and I'm speaking right now really to everyone, but specifically to music teachers. So if you want this to be your best teaching year ever, I've got 3 tips to help you get started. And I'm actually going to share them with you, but I also have a bonus tip. So you may want to stay to the end just so that you can get the bonus tip as well. So let's get started. I'm going to give you 3 tips and then I'm going to give you a bonus tip. So grab a pen and paper and I want you to write down 3 things that you want to accomplish for 2022. Like, let's just do this together right now. You're obviously hanging out with me on Facebook and or YouTube or wherever you might be, LinkedIn. So hang out with me now and let's just go through this. It's just going to take us a couple of minutes and it might be some fun and maybe give you some ideas. All right, you ready? Okay. So you got your pen, you got your paper. Write down 3 things that you want to accomplish for 2022. 3 things that you want to accomplish for 2022. So here's the thing. When we write down what we want to accomplish, it starts to get a little more real. And after that, I want you to write down your why. Why do you want to accomplish these 3 things? Is it about fitness? Do you want to get healthier? You want to work out? Is it about, creating, writing some music, maybe going back to some music lessons yourself to elevate your skill set? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to create a course? Like, what is it for you that would really, dream big? I always say dream big. What are the 3 things and why do you want them? All right, so now I'm going to give you 3 tips to accomplish them. Aha, that's the key. We want to get that. So here's tip number 1. Tip number 1 is physiology. And you might think, well, what has that got to do with achieving my dream there, Miss Glory St. Germain? I'll share it with you. When you change your state, your physiology, you really can strike a power pose. Think about how you're going to feel when you accomplish your goal. Before I go in to do a coaching call or if I'm presenting at a masterclass, I always think about my physiology because it helps me, empowers me to be positive. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel excited. And when you feel that you've really got this, your physiology will change. Think about this. When you're feeling down or depressed, and you can see my body is kind of shrinking, we can't really do our best or get excited about too much because our physiology is not matching with what we really want. But simply by changing, and you can go ahead and sit up and maybe uncross your legs and get your feet on the floor and just sit a little taller in your chair with me today and go, you know what? Yeah, I'm starting to feel better. And when we think about it and we change our state, we really are that much closer to achieving our goals. And it'll make you feel great too. It's always good to sit up straight. Your physiology can change your state just like that. And you can try that today. Just kind of walk around a little bit taller. All right, so when I was preparing for my TEDx talk, 3 secrets to unlock your student success for TEDx Lenox Village studio, there was a lot to prepare for, a lot of memorizing, working with coaches and preparing my script and things like that. But much of the prep was about physiology. And when you have physiology and if you haven't watched the TEDx talk yet, I'll leave it in the show notes here in case you want to watch it or you can watch it again. I'd love your comments on it. But it was very much, and you'll notice now that I've given you my secret, how my physiology, my state had to be in a positive state in order to do my very best as I presented my TEDx talk. So I'll share that one with you. All right, so here is tip number 2. Tip number 2 is accountability. Accountability. When you have an accountability partner, it's so much more fun to share your wins. And you have that support system. And perhaps you're even on the same success path. So if you decide, you know what, I want to go to the gym. Okay, you might decide that, or you might just want to work out at home. But either way, if you don't have anyone that you're accountable to, sometimes we have good intentions and then after a while it just kind of peters out and we don't bother doing it, right? So if you have an accountability partner who says, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym with you, or yeah, I can Zoom call with you and let's work out together. So when you have a goal and you have an accountability partner, it just makes it more fun and chances are it's going to be successful. So when you set a goal, accountability is really, really important. One of my goals for 2021 was to release the Power of Why Musicians Anthology book series. There's 5 books in the series, you can probably see them behind me here, with 125 chapters. 125 chapters of musicians sharing their struggles and how they overcame them to rise up to success in their industry. Pretty cool, right? The Power of Why, there's 5 books. So The Power of Why, 21 musicians created a program. 23 musicians crafted a course. 25 musicians composed a legacy. 27 musicians captured the lead, and our final book is 29 musicians climbed to superstar. Now, my UMT team and our editors, along with the musician authors, right, in these 125 chapters, were from around the world. Around the world. I really hope you have a chance to read them. They're so passionate about sharing their stories. They were, thrilled to really dig deep, and it takes a lot to write your own story. And perhaps you want to write your own story and maybe share it in a blog or just share it in one of your Facebook posts. But you really have to dig deep. What is my story and how did I get to where I am? What is my success path? What's my why? So these authors were my accountability partners. Not only our editors and the UMT team, but the authors were also my accountability partners in taking the Power of Why musicians books to #1 international bestsellers. And not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but all 5 books. All 5 books, international bestsellers. And again, these are musicians from around the world. It's amazing. So I hope you enjoy them. I'll put some links when I'm done with my chat with you today. I'll put some links in the notes below. So choose your accountability partner with someone who is like-minded, that you really can work together to achieve your goal. And it also is about proximity. The great philosopher Jim Rohn said that when you look at your 5 friends, which one of those are you really aspiring to be more like? Who we surround ourselves with is who we kind of become. So, we can't choose our family, but we can choose our friends. And if you're looking to elevate your skill set and you really want to grow professionally and physically and mentally in all aspects of your life, you really want to think about proximity. Who are you hanging out with? What kind of coaches can you work with? What kind of thought leaders can you work with? What kind of books can you read that might just get you started on your path? So that was tip number 2. All right. And finally, tip number 3, and yes, I do have a bonus tip for you, so stay tuned. Tip number 3 is professional development. Professional development. You might think, well, what kind of a tip is that, Miss Glory? Well, here's the thing. Your success comes from your personal power to learn and to implement the knowledge. You need to map it into your daily schedule. So if you already have a professional development schedule, just share it with me in the chat. You can just say yes or give me a why. Are you working on professional development? Is it something that's part of what you do? You don't just go to a seminar or a master class once a year, but it's part of your maybe weekly activities, if not daily, but certainly every single week, you should block off time when you're working on your own professional development and map it into your schedule. As we created 4 global music summits with hundreds of speakers in 2021, and perhaps some of you were speakers in the global music summits, and perhaps you participated and were one of the viewers, but we had thousands of people. And not only did these speakers share their knowledge, their expert knowledge, I might add, in the summits, but they also learned from each other in their own professional development. And recently, and myself included, as even though I was hosting the event and I was the interviewer, I learned so much from these speakers. And I was so grateful because I love to learn. I'm always taking courses, working with coaches, and it's part of what it's my routine. It's just what I do every day. I learn something new. If I don't, I feel like I've wasted a day. Most recently, I was featured in America Tonight with Kate Delaney, and also featured in the Canadian Music Trade magazine that did an amazing 4-page spread on myself and Ultimate Music Theory, my company, what we've accomplished in 2021, and it is in the Canadian Music Trade magazine. You can check it out. It's online, Canadian Music Trade magazine. It is in their current edition right now, which is January, so you can get to read it. It's hot off the press. And it was a great honor for me to be recognized by the Canadian Music Trade magazine and to do an article on me. I'm very grateful for that. And I realized that through professional development, I was not only able to learn, but to implement these skill sets. It's always one thing if you've read a book and then you didn't take any action on it, then maybe it's time to pull the book out and read it again. And this time, find your accountability partner, block in your learning time, and then take action and implement the skills. Because I know for myself, when I learn something, and maybe sometimes that's why it takes me so long to read a book, is because I like to read and then I like to implement. Then I like to read and then I like to implement, because that's how we grow, right? It's the same as if you're teaching a student. You don't just give them a music lesson and then they come back next week and you give them the same music lesson. You give them a lesson and then they need to implement what they learned, and then they come back and they're ready for the next one. So yay. All right. So finally, a bonus tip. All right. Are you ready for this one? The bonus tip is one word. Ready? You're like, okay, give it to me. One word. So the bonus tip is one word. And that word is choice. That's it. You have a choice. Everything that you do to your body, whatever you eat, whatever you drink, how you work out, what you learn, what you do, how you hold your physiology, what you think about, everything is a choice. And I'm here today, New Year's Day 2022, just to say that I care about you. And I want you to have the best year ever. And many of our Ultimate Music Theory certified teachers and UMTC elite educators that are in our program, I have seen immense growth in their success that they've accomplished this year. I'm so proud of them. And I would like to invite you, if you choose to work with me, you can book a free 15-minute strategy call where we can talk about what are your goals. And if I can help you in achieving them, I would love to tell you a little bit about the UMTC Elite Educator Program. I'll put the link below so you can click on it. You can book your free 15-minute strategy call, and let's just explore it. 15 minutes can change your life. I know for myself, working with coaches and my team has really elevated us. We've grown immensely in the last few years, and it really is exciting and it's a lot of fun. And I wish you nothing but happiness and joy and success in all aspects of your life. So take time today to, review these little tips that I gave you, and hopefully they will serve you in having your best year ever. I'm Glory St. Germain. Thanks for joining me today. Have an amazing 2022. Bye for now. Thanks.